You don't think about the grip and grin after you took the shot. You think about that one bull that came in and you could smell him. You could see his eyeball move. You could hear him breathe. You could hear his steps. Flies hovering around the bull's eyes. Everything is just up close and personal. It's the healthiest drug that you can do. There's nothing like it. Everything's perfect. So we just backed in about 9 miles. We got 3 horses, riding 2, packing 1. We've got my friend Jack here. It's gonna be a huge help. He's got the tag as well. It's only noon on the first day. It's a little bit of a ride in this morning, but everything went smoothly and we're looking forward to enjoying some great elk hunting. Don't film that! And again. Rather than doing the call an elk to you method, we're really specializing on trying to kill very specific elk. And doing that, we're not looking for like the luck and chance of whatever we call in we might get a shot at. So we'll be spending a lot of time running ridges, going way up high, glassing like you would for mule deer, locating. One herd way up in the high country right below these rocks that are another view. And then, you know, identifying the pattern, the dynamic that bull is in. Cruising herd bulls, like mature bulls be cruising right now, just waiting to pick up on hot cows. Whether he's pre-rut, whether he's peak rut. And then making a game plan and kind of hovering on him for a couple days to watch him and then trying to strike when the moment's right. Nothing seems to really be gathered together all that much or rutting that hard. So it's been hot. It's been like 80 degrees up here. So with this cold front coming in the next week and a half, it should be time to crank. I wouldn't be surprised if those elk just peeled over. I bet we're gonna find our big bull over there. And you know where they came from? Back there in those cliffs. At the very head. I was watching them filter out earlier. We're like 2 miles back. I did not expect that many elk to come out of there though. That guy, just heavy, mass, dark. What, 20 cows, 22 cows? Stud muffin. And then we've got that kind of thin antlered 340 bull. Still nothing really big. Great bulls though.
Pretty common for you to just be surrounded by elk.
This is when it's fun. It's fun. So when Jack starts going like this, because I've never seen so many elk off from one glassing point. It makes me happy. So my relationship with Jack started about 7 years ago. I was running an archery shop, and Jack came in and said, "Hey, I want to look at some binoculars." And I said, "No, sizing you up. You don't want binoculars. You want something else." He goes, "Uh-huh, really? I need something else?" I said, "Absolutely."
And I immediately was drawn to his energy. He's got this striving for excellence thing that I think is really rare in the world right now.
I think Jack showed up like 3 times a week from there on out for the first couple months.
And it was really inspiring to try to just sort of follow a little bit in his footsteps and try to see if I could pick up on some of the skills that he has.
He's always been a hunter, but got into archery, and you know, he said, how do I do this? How am I successful? How do I get from I'm a complete beginner at this to you know, a seasoned vet?
And when you're around other people that do that, it just feels natural to want to be the best at what we do, especially when there's an animal's life at stake, you know. And when you're taking a life of an animal like an elk that's lived 8-10 years in these mountains, it's a heavy feeling. And so doing it to the best of your ability is really important.
So last night we had 2 giant thunderstorms come through that really rocked everything. If you look up in the high country, we got snow at about 10,000 feet, maybe 10,500. So what's gonna happen, you know, we're just transitioning yesterday. We were sitting in the bottom of the base and it was like 75, 80 degrees, hotter than hell. Now we got this big burst of cold weather. Everyone thinks, oh, the elk can be rutting. They're in shock, right? They're going, oh my God, we have to eat to stay warm. We weren't ready for this. So it's really quiet this morning for a good reason. Everyone's eating, everyone's storing up and responding to the weather. Once this goes to high pressure, once this stabilizes a little bit, then the elk will be start back up and really go to peak rut. But this is a very jarring experience with the weather for them, so that's why we're going to experience a little bit quieter morning. But everything will be out feeding, which will be advantageous for us for glassing a big bull. So we'll see how everything goes, but it should be good. Disgusting that bugle that's 1.5 miles away sounds closer than the one that's 600 yards. There's more bulls in here. You can see. Guarantee you that. When I scout this, I'll come in on 1 or 2 ridges, and I'll run the ridges all the way around, glassing every drainage, and then glassing across. And you know, you're catching bulls, they're in velvet. They're way up, you know, visible in the high alpine. They're not down the timber. They're not hidden. You can take inventory of everything that's here. The problem is, they transition to rut. They rub off their velvet, they come down to green timber. They start rutting, they pick up cows. And some of them will break out of their bachelor herds, rub off their velvet, and go over to full drainages before they start rutting. So it's hard to relocate bulls that you saw in the summer. It's even hard to relocate bulls that you saw yesterday. So we've been seeing a lot of elk through the burnt timber, but no herd bulls for the most part. I think that we're gonna head over and find them in the green timber from here on out. You're dead. They're all too small.
What was that one?
That one was at 41 yards. My full draw, 53, walked down to 41. The wind blew. Anticipated them to kind of catch it and spook, so I came to full draw and I felt the wind. He got nervous, took 2 steps out, called, stopped him, and then hypothetically shot, but just a whole bachelor herd of 300 and less class bulls. How many do we see? Like 12, 8 to 12 filtering through. So we'll keep looking. Things just times everywhere.
He's just wrapping down into the shade now on that other side. He's just gonna keep going. Just contour.
But do you want to try and throw a camo shirt on and camo pants on and
I mean, might as well. It's the biggest one.
run up to a point to see where he goes? Because
Yeah.
at the very least, I mean, there could be a herd above him, but we're not even seeing him. He's just kind of skirting the bottom edge of. Do that. I'll put my clothes on and get this stupid fucking cowboy hat off.
What about our horses?
37 years old, and I've been archery hunting for 20 years. There's a few things that I've learned that apply to tonight. No matter how badly you want something to be different, it's not that way. It is exactly as it is, and your desire, your bias for what you desire to be the outcome should be eliminated from your thought process entirely. You need to treat things exactly how they are, and how they are tonight is frustrating. Because it was a great bull, a great opportunity. The arrow got like that much penetration. It was great to see the arrow that only had, like 3 inches of penetration, just slightly forward.
Which side did you shoot it on?
I got little bits of blood. We confirmed with the blood that was dark red muscle blood. It wasn't frothy, it wasn't vibrant, it wasn't heart or lung or liver blood. And that's part of it. And that's why you practice all year, but can't change it. Never going to be able to deal with it as it is, and that's where we're at.
Andrew can be really, really hard on himself when it comes to something like a shot that didn't go exactly the way he wanted. This is a dynamic environment. Bow hunting is something that we only have so much control over.
Your desired bias, leave that at the door. We know that it is what it is, even though I would pray and wish that I could change things, you can't. We're identifying, and we're going to do our cross our T's, dot our I's, and make sure that there's no anomaly that happened overnight. We're going to put it behind us, and we're going to keep moving. Well, here's a very, very, very simple story. me pull an arrow out. You can see the different length in the tip. The broadhead's this long. It's a mechanical. And even with the blood dripping down the shaft, the most consistent penetration would have been that much. So a little bit more than a middle finger's length. That's a shoulder blade or a humerus. The broadhead broke off on the bone. And I mean, this bull could die to infection months from now, but we're not going to be able to find him. And most likely he's not hardly even fazed by this. So that's the proof that we need. And we're not going to track any further than this. We watched him run from a mile from here, over the ridge, uphill, not breathing, no blood coming out of his mouth, no blood coming out of his side. So that was quicker than I thought. I thought that I saw the arrow when he was in this green patch, but you know, your mind definitely bends the reality of your memory even 5 minutes after the shot. So anyway, close the door on this one, start moving forward. If it doesn't happen, then we'll just wait, and we'll wait. We'll keep looking, and eventually it'll happen. So, patience, and so it's just a matter of time until we can actually turn him up in a place that we can go kill him. We're gonna make some moves, cover some terrain during the heat of the day, get a new spot for tonight, and then try and find the one. So we continued up in the high country, glassed some bulls that were way up in the high country with some sheep. Didn't see what we were looking for, so we crossed over this high alpine kind of pass, dropping back down and glassed and bugled and got a bunch of responses. So the timing really only allowed us to do a wait for the updrafts, the bedding area, stalk into the bedding areas, and try and stir up the right bull. So we're right into the herd, right where we wanted to be. We're above them, updrafts coming to us, and I tried to represent what it would be like a bull coming into that herd. We cruised just a few, I don't know, maybe it was like 20 more steps, and I came out to just where I could see a slot through the timber, and I saw this bull with great big curling fronts. And I thought, okay, he might be a shooter. Didn't pass through. Yep, it didn't pass through though. That's alright. I saw the arrow out of the side. Hanging out. Yeah, a little bit. It's okay. How big? I think like 340.
That's fine. I'm so proud of you.
I know that it wasn't forward.
It didn't sound forward at all. That sounded perfect.
It might have been slightly back.
All I could see was the arrow had like, you know, a foot hanging out of his right side at the right elevation, but I never got it, and I never got a visual on how far forward or back it was. And in my head, I'm going, something didn't seem right about that. I know that there was something that was wrong with my shot. But how wrong was it? Was it a half inch? Was it 6 inches? Was it 2 feet?
He looked like, I mean, I saw his track back there. It looked giant.
Big pull.
So the optimism of the crew was like, oh yeah, okay, well, same here. Like it could be a perfect shot. And then we thought we heard his antlers like crash down on some rock scree. We started tracking. We went down to where the shot was. We went down to first blood. At that point, we'd gone probably 80 yards and saw really great blood. So thought, okay, well, he's probably just piled up down here around the corner. And went 200 yards further, and he's, you know, sprinting big, torn up tracks going down the hill. And my head's still thinking, wow, okay, it's gonna be like 5 more jumps, and then he's gonna be a piled up mess right here at the base of the rocks.
We probably got 500 yards before I started to think, this may go in a different direction than what we're hoping.
When you lose all sign, you lose blood, you lose track, you've done your circles, you're usually just accepting failure. And I'm sitting there in my boat of negativity. And Conrad goes, what do you think's the likelihood of finding him? And I go, not good. What do you think? And he goes, I think we're gonna find him. And it's like, you know, my whole world is just this full-on boat, just like negative, insecurity, negative. You're the worst person. I can't believe you do X, Y, and Z. How can you fail this bad over and over and over again? And then you have this guy that's just like, oh, if I'm being honest, I just have a feeling that we're gonna find him. And that little light of hope is like, okay, you know, yeah, let's change my mindset a little bit. We're gonna try and be optimistic. Instantly wondering, what is the reality of the situation? Say, okay, like, let's grab some water and then we'll start grid searching. And we just barely get into this good stuff and come over the roll of this timbered hill. And Conrad just turns to me and goes, found him.
Dude, seriously.
You seriously?
Well, I was on his track, Andrew, just right back there. Oh, man.
Did it, man. That's, like, seriously, guys, I want to thank God that means so much to me. I know he's not as big as we thought, but it doesn't matter. Just to find him. God, you feel like such an a-hole. Anything goes wrong. I mean, there's a shot high and back. Double lung, but he went.
He did exactly what you thought he was going to do. Pushed up that thing and embedded right there.
Yep.
Oh my God.
We went to like complete elation and gratitude again, just to be able to not waste an animal's life. And it took skill to get as far as we did. It took experience to get as far as we did with the tracking. And then it takes a little bit of luck.